Well, hello there, scholarly gamers. It's time for this week's Jungle Drums. Now, apologies in advance. I am starting to come down with something. There's a huge outbreak of the winter flu in my area. I mean, to the point where I've had lectures off at school. Only half my class turned up. It's same with my partner. She's saying that at work. There's all sorts of people off sick. And so my voice is, it's still there at the moment, but a coughing fit could ensue at any given time. But thankfully, I'm joined by my good friends Gim Boyd and Sergeant J this evening.
Hola.
Hello.
So nice to... I know you haven't been feeling well either yourself, have you, Gim?
No.
No, see, there's just a lot of it going about. But of course, Jay's a strapping young man, so he's...
Oh, I don't do illnesses.
I'm trying to think. I can't recall ever, in a time that I've known you being sick. You know what I mean? Like getting on and saying, "Oh, I can't get on. I've got the cold or I've got the flu." I honestly can't recall.
I just try to be a warrior. That's the thing. You know, my body's like, no, none of this. It's a temple. A big temple, but it's a temple nonetheless.
No disease can live in salty blood.
yeah, pretty much. I reckon that's what it is.
Oh my. Oh well. Well, hey, we've got a fair mix this evening of a little bit of tech stuff, a little bit of gaming stuff. You know what's funny? Quite often we'll discuss something and we'll go, "Oh, we're going to keep an eye on this, right?" And we'll have to talk about this later. You know, we'll keep tabs on it. And I know we always say this, but it almost feels like either there hasn't been much development with those things or we've somehow forgotten. But thankfully this evening we actually do have a story that was all the way back from Jungle Drums episode 25. And that was about the Red's Hydrogen... Was it the Hydrogen 1, I believe it's called? The Hydrogen phone. Red is, you know, the company that make the weapon... brain units for cameras, you know, like a full setup from Red is something like $250,000, I believe, 250,000 US dollars. Beautiful cameras. But anyway, they were going to be entering the mobile phone market. So we covered this way back when in episode 25, and I just noticed this week over at TechCrunch.com there is an update that Red's holographic solid Hydrogen phone will ship this summer. Now, when we covered it, I believe it was the leaked price was $1,200 US dollars, which, you know, okay, yeah, that's really expensive for a phone. But remember, this phone is supposed to have amazing optics. It was being aimed at what they call the prosumer crowd. You know, so people who take photography and also capturing, well, you know, video extremely seriously. But I think, and you know, I'm sure you guys probably feel the same, that's not the most exciting feature about this phone. It's the holographic display it's supposed to have. If I pull up an image here that I've got on the web page, this is not the exact way it's going to look, but this is like a conceptual rendering of what they're claiming it will kind of do. It's going to have a semi-3D type of image coming out of the screen. So, I mean, how is that even... What kind of implementations can we expect from that? Are we talking like games? Are we talking video stuff? Are we talking having... I would say 3D films, but that seems... 3D seems to have died, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, as it said in the article as well, it's just... It seems like something that was a gimmick more than a good, I would say, technological advancement as such. It just seemed like, oh yeah, let's just plaster 3D on to TVs after essentially what would be 3D cinemas and everything. And I just... So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with this in terms of, as you say, will it be good for games? Because obviously to do something like that, it won't be the case of let's create, you know, all these, for example, Android games and put them on there. Surely something will have to be done behind them, or only Red specific games will be available, which is it, or media will be available, which is interesting. How it might just be able to do it anyway, but it'd be interesting to see how it works.
I mean, that's the thing. I would assume this has been in development for such a long time. I mean, it's very possible that they started the project when 3D was popular. You know, when the TVs were just coming out and whatnot. But it's quite interesting when the press release that I see here is saying that, you know, hey, look, it gives a completely different feeling. You know, instead of looking at a picture, you're immersed in the image, and it's really quite spectacular. And Red claims that they are showing prototypes now to content-producing partners in preparation for the hydrogen network. This will be one place to find all of this 4V, that's what they're calling this holographic technology, 4V content online from major studios and other content providers for creating your own channel. We will be able to announce our social media partners pretty soon. You will not be disappointed who is supporting Hydrogen 4V. Big dogs. Full stop. So, there you go. We'll have to see. Allegedly, this is going to change a lot of things for us. Change the way we look at images. Change the way social media is going to be. Do you think all the other phone companies are going to jump on this 4V technology?
That really does depend upon how successful it is, doesn't it, really? I mean, as you say, Red here have... I don't think any phone company, to be honest, would realistically want to take this kind of plunge and this kind of risk, because this is a very big risk in terms of what they're trying to do. So obviously Red's taking it upon themselves. Now, if this phone does well, then it will not surprise me to start see other phone companies push into this sort of area. But I reckon you probably have a lot of phone companies watching this or keeping an eye on this phone to see what happens. Because, you know, they might even be able to, if it does terribly, they might be able to see why it didn't potentially go in with less risk, seeing what's actually happened with a proper version of it.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see who the big supporters are.
I mean, I think this phone, I know it's not specifically targeting them, but I feel if this does if it does an exceptional job of capturing video and capturing images, you know, like their other photographic products, I could see this getting popular with streamers and, you know, and like YouTubers, you know, people who need a nice portable solution, you know, instead of having like a DSLR or likewise, you know, one of these camcorders that can upload directly to the web. I mean, if this device has that good of optics and video capture, it could end up being quite popular with that crowd. You know, 4V be damned. You know, forget about the gimmick, but, you know, the actual technology. Plus, it's a good-looking phone. If I'll bring this up again just for the video here, you know, it's a good-looking piece of kit, and it is most likely going to have a lot of add-ons for it. You know, like modular. It's got like a, not really, I suppose you could call it a hot plate, but on the back of the phone near the bottom, you know, that looks like there's contacts there for attachments. So there'll be probably things coming out, flashes, zoom lenses, all those types of things. Maybe additional battery packs. So it could be a nice little all-in-one solution for that crowd. Because, I mean, let's be honest, for the gamer crowd, the Razer phone is supposed to be the phone.
That's supposed to be really
for
good.
them. There's two of my classmates have it. And it's a good-looking phone. Like, it really is. It does look nice. It's got a nice weight to it without feeling heavy, if you know what I mean. It's the downside was that what I thought was an engraved Razer logo is actually just a sticker.
Disappointing.
And what they're telling me is, like, it is cool. Like, the games on it are great and the sound's really, really nice. But as a phone, it functions okay. And, you know, I mean, like, for them, they're young. These guys are really, really young, so that's fine. That suits them. But I'm at a stage in my life where I need my phone to actually function well as a phone. You know what I mean? Like, I like having the other bells and whistles, don't get me wrong. I mean, okay, I use an iPhone and because it's just easy for me to use. But, like, some of the video stuff that I can do with it is actually pretty neat. You know, same like with live streaming, can do that straight from the phone. But if for a minute, if the actual audio quality of my calls sucked, then I'd be looking somewhere else.
Oh yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's what their feedback has been with the Razer phone. They like it. It's great. It's a shiny bit of kit, and the sound really is amazing. So that would be of interest to me. But when I sat and thought about it, I was like, how often do I play games on my phone? Now, UJ, someone who has a long commute in London, I could see a product like that appealing to you, possibly.
Possibly.
You know what I mean? Playing some cheeky games on the metro. But me, like the stereotypical situation for when a guy would play games on his phone, I tend to usually be checking Twitter and Discord in those situations, or reading up on news. I don't play games, so oh well. Yeah,
I think it'd be interesting because I think, as you said, I feel this phone would be a lot more suited towards content creators.
Yeah.
For what it is. And again, it's quite a nice little gap in the market, so it'll be interesting to see how it does. And I kind of hope it does do well, just from a tech point of view. It would be great to try and see stuff like this become much bigger. I think the other thing you've got to look at as well is think about the overall impact this could have if this works. Suddenly you could get holographic billboards. Things like that. Suddenly you could go into somewhere like McDonald's, as they've already got those tots pads, and then suddenly it's like that for your ordering and stuff like that. If it works and it does it well, it could change a lot of the industry, again, not just in terms of phone marketing.
No, I think you've got a point there. Yeah, because you start seeing it on other tablets, TVs.
Yep.
Who knows?
I mean, it's crazy how much of a push now tablets, in terms of, as I said, like McDonald's, for example. Now they've got, it's very rare, McDonald's limit now, you actually go up and just get served by the person you want to go see. You just order it all via these massive pads and tablets, and that just seems we seem to be moving forward as. So yeah, that could change all that as well. Again, make things interesting.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Interesting. Right, let's talk about some gaming here, shall we? This has been all over the headlines everywhere. I've just sourced an article from WCCF Tech, and this is, to do with the Xbox Game Pass. And so there's a lot of different bits of information that have came out. This article in particular was talking about how any of the Xbox Play Anywhere titles that are part of the Game Pass will mean you'll be able to download them on PC as well. So when I saw that was the first bit of news I'd seen this week, and I was like, wow, that's actually pretty darn cool, so I can sign up for the Game Pass, and any of the Play Anywhere titles, and it gives me that ability to download them on PC. But since then, there's been even more that's been added to the story, right, Gim? Gim, you there?
Gim's not here at the moment. Please leave a message after the tone.
He is not here. Well,
sorry, my food arrived half an hour.
Oh, timing.
It's a bit of a mess as well.
Oh, is it?
And leaked a little.
That's
fine. Not much of a mess. It's just.
I mean, you expect to encounter leaks, with Thai food maybe the next day. Yeah, but not the night of.
Dipping sauce for dumplings leaked a little.
Oh, I hate it when that happens. Well, no, what happened with the story is that it further developed, and as we found out, they made an announcement saying that with Xbox One exclusives, like for example the upcoming Sea of Thieves, Crackdown 3, and State of Decay 2, on launch day they will be on the Xbox Games Pass. They'll be added to the library. So that was quite interesting. Again, when I chose this story for Jungle Drums, that hadn't happened yet. This was just about the mainly about the cross-platform play that I found quite interesting. What are our thoughts on this, guys? Is Games Pass now looking like a good value for money?
To be fair, I think it's a good value for money anyway, in terms of if you're sensible with it.
It's alright. I'd still prefer EA's. Strange enough, EA's vault system on the what they call it now. EA Access.
EA Access, yeah.
It's cheaper, and the games will stay on the vault, whereas Game Pass they can last everywhere from probably a year to about 3 months. So you don't know when they'll go. They'll let you know about a couple of weeks beforehand when the game will be gone.
That's why I say I think you've got to be sensible with it, and if it's something that is a constantly, like if it's a single player game, for example, I think it's great value for your money because, you know, £10 or however much is a month, you know, you can probably get through if you've got the time for it. I use the word if you've got the time for it here. You can probably get through quite a few of those. But if it's an online multiplayer game, like for example, let's say Siege, or as we were discussing when it comes out, Sea of Thieves, then it's one of those things you want to be sensible and pay for the month. See what you feel about the game, see if it's something you'd enjoy, and then buy it on the discount. Because obviously, as you said, for Jungle, before we did start doing this,
well, £20
on a game.
I mean, let's lead into that. I mean, this is the thing. There's been a lot of, you know, this always happens. Let's be honest. Whether we're talking about Xbox or the PS4, there's plenty of haters out there. There's plenty of fanboys, I suppose is one way to describe them, or fanatics even. You know, that will just come out and they'll be just so quick to, you know, kind of slate either console depending what camp they belong to. And when this announcement kind of came out, I mean, I saw the typical, you know, there's plenty of friends I have on Twitter that are PS4 fans, and, you know, they're just immediately going into, oh, look, they're clutching at straws, you know, they must be losing so much money and they're hoping to try to, you know, get something back. And I saw other folks saying, oh, what in the hell, you know, they're going to be losing so much money. They're even, just today, I saw an article, guys, there's a store in Austria called Gamesware, I believe. And since this announcement, Gamesware has delisted all of its Xbox consoles. They are no longer going to be selling Xboxes because they interpret this as, well, you know, we're not going to be selling games. Customers aren't going to be coming into our stores to purchase games because they'll just sign up for the Games Pass. And I find this so amazing that people are like, oh, wow, look, you know, they're going to lose so much money doing this. And no, they're not. Let's use Sea of Thieves as a prime example. Like, we've all decided, us three, we're going to be playing that game, right? We want to get Sea of Thieves. And I was going to go ahead and pre-order it, right, and buy it. But now looking at the Game Pass, it's like, oh, wait a minute, I could pay, it's a tenner a month, right? Is that what it is, guys? Or is it less? Is it $8.99?
$7.99, I thought it was.
Is it $9.99?
$7.99, I thought it was.
$7.99.
I might be wrong.
Have a look. Why you know say the price anywhere?
Well, I know it's under.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
I know it's under £10. So it's $7.99, $8.99, whatever it is, right?
$9.99 in dollars.
Okay, so yes, it's probably $7.99 for us then, unless
Yeah,
they're
$7.99.
Yeah, $7.99 a month. I found it. There we
right. So there we go. So £8, right? I mean, that's basically, oh god, what? Well, if you go to a Burger King service station, you know, like off the motorway, that'll get you a combo meal. But right, so I can spend £8, and I will get access to Sea of Thieves immediately. So you think to yourself, well, hey, that's pretty cool. I've only paid £8 and I'm getting to play the game. But what we don't know yet is how long that game itself's going to be there. You know, because this is the thing with Game Pass. It's similar to Netflix and even, you know, Amazon Prime Video, where they rotate their library. I mean, a prime example was Metal Gear Solid, was it 5?
Metal Gear Solid 5, Phantom Pain, yeah.
Yeah, that was on the Game Pass for about 3 months. And what we've seen is this thing on Twitter where people have misconstrued the meaning of, you know, Xbox has said, hey, look, this is a permanent move. Xbox One exclusives are always going to be coming out on the Game Pass. And a lot of people on social media have interpreted that as, oh, wow, Xbox One exclusives stay on Game Pass forever. No, that is not the case. They didn't say that. They said that this move to put Xbox One exclusives on Game Pass the same day as release is a permanent move. Not that the game itself will permanently be a part of Game Pass. So I think
all
that
future games will.
yeah, exactly, Gim. And so this is the thing. This is where I think there is some real room to make some money. Because how much does Sea of Thieves cost to purchase? Is it $49.99, or is it slightly
about
cheaper?
The average price of a game. So
Depends where
probably.
they go. I think it's a bit cheaper on Amazon.
Okay, so for argument's sake, we'll say it's 50 quid. So I could either spend £50 now and buy it, or I say, you know what? No, I'm just going to use the Game Pass. So month 1, I've spent 8 quid. Month 2, I've spent another 8. So now we're up to 16. Month 3, I spend another 8. So we're up to 24 quid, right? So I still haven't, I've almost paid half of what it would have cost to purchase the game outright. So I'm still saving money here. But then, let's just say I love Sea of Thieves and I want to keep on playing it. They take it out of the circulation of the Game Pass. And I go, oh crap, but I want to keep playing it. Game Pass, by being a subscriber, gives me a, what was it, Gim, up to
20% discount.
Up to 20%, but most likely
Good timing, Jay.
probably around 10, right? So
Between 10 and 15, I'd say, is probably
Yeah.
going to be the average
So,
discount.
I'm going to get a special offer to purchase the game for somewhere between £5 and £10 off. So let's just say, even if it's a huge savings of 20%, out of 50 quid, that means I'm saving a tenner, right? And I'm only paying 40. So I've now bought the game to own for £40, thinking, hey, that's pretty cool. You know, I've saved £10, but I'd already spent 24 on the Game Pass. You know, now this kind of analogy works if I joined the Game Pass specifically to play Sea of Thieves. You know, in the long run, I've actually spent more money than if I just bought the game outright. But, you know, this is why I don't think that people would well, actually, I correct myself. I think there are people that will subscribe to Game Pass specifically for a game. But this whole concept that Microsoft and Xbox are going to lose money by doing this, you obviously have completely misunderstood this concept, because no, they will not. If
There's
anything,
something else I want to mention as well with the potential of saving money, because you'd think, oh, if it's $7.99 a month, I can just play it for 1 month, get the discount, and I've saved a couple of quid.
yeah,
Problem with that is, first 30 days, discount won't apply. So, first 30 days after its release, if you have Game Pass and you go, I want to buy this, you will not get a discount. You have to wait a full month after release. So, either way, they will make more money if you play it on Game Pass first.
yeah.
It's the
Because you have to wait at least 2 months. That's if you start Game Pass on release. Start a bit after, you get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you still got to wait a month.
thing is, what like, people say they'll lose money, but for example, I'll use a good example, just for anything really. Let's say I get Game Pass, $7.99, and I let's say Sea of Thieves, something that I was never was on my radar, something I never thought I'd probably buy. I start playing it for a month, and I'm like, actually, this is really good. And I'm like, I'll actually buy this. Suddenly, a game that I probably wasn't going to buy, I've just brought. And that's the other really good thing about the Game Pass is it literally is go try this game out. None of this go watch video, see how it feels. Actually get a chance to try it out for yourself, and I think it's really good.
It's basically subscribe for a very in-depth demos.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, because
I think it's good for that reason.
Let's be honest. I mean, this is something that nowadays we miss. Because years ago, you used to get like demo discs that came with magazines, right? And that was great. You got
a Blockbuster.
Yeah, or you could go to Blockbuster, you could rent a game, and if you liked it, you would eventually buy it. But nowadays, we get less and less of these demos and more of, alpha and beta tests. And that seems to be the only way for us to try games. Now, don't get me wrong, I know there's a lot of games out there that do the free trials now, where like you can play the first couple of hours, or look at the Division or even Siege that'll do a free weekend here and there, For Honor. But aside from those types of things, you know, I mean, it's a very tricky situation when we're talking about whether to buy a 50 quid game. You know, not everyone has that disposable income to just throw around willy-nilly. It's a lot of money, right? And to be taking a chance on a game that may or may not be any good, it's a very, very dicey proposition. Whereas something like the Game Pass, where, okay, yes, look, it's like Netflix and Amazon, let's be honest. Some months are great, and other months suck. I mean, we've done this myself, me and my partner, where we've maybe, like for example, Now TV is a good example for us. We barely use it that often, and it's really just to look at watch movies. And she's like, you know what, we need to cancel this, you know, because she really had got it for Game of Thrones, and of course there's going to be no Game of Thrones episodes this year. And she's like, you know, we just need to get rid of it. It's a waste of money. I was like, well, is it a waste of money? Because look at it this way. You're spending this much money a month, and you have to look at how many hours of entertainment you get out of that, right? I mean, it's like you have to look at that price to entertainment ratio, I suppose. You know, when I was looking at the, you know, if you spent 50 quid on a game that you only played for 2 hours and it pissed you off and you hated it, that's a very bad value. Whereas if you bought, for example, that game I was playing, Flying Tigers, for £15 and get 20 hours out of it, you know, that's a really good, you know, price to entertainment ratio there. And so this is the thing I think you have to look at. If you look at things like the Game Pass and 8 quid a month, look into, for that 8 quid a month, how many hours of entertainment are you getting? And, you know, it's probably not bad in the long run. There's probably going to be months that'll suck, but, you know, swings and roundabouts, I suppose.
I really do think this, and obviously what the PlayStation have got as the equivalent, which I don't know if it's as good, really are good marketing moves, and they are just... I said if I had a lot more gaming time available to me and I didn't have a stupidly big backlog of games, I would probably pay for it. But because I don't, I'm not going to. And that's not because I think it's bad or it's a waste of money. It's just because I haven't got the time to, as you say, get the entertainment value out of that spending. But yeah, I don't see how people can think he'll lose some money. I generally think he'll do the complete opposite. And somebody like Microsoft, who have a lot of experience with financing and all this sort of stuff, surely would not put something out like this unless it was going to make them money.
Yeah, no, it's definitely
Oh, they aren't stupid. This will make them more money than it will cost them.
Exactly.
Easily.
You're right. They're making moves. I mean, it's funny you mentioned Microsoft. Just today I saw a tweet sent out by what's his last name? Matt, one of the guys from well, the guy from Mixer. You know, one of the founders of Mixer.
Yeah.
And he'd put a tweet out saying, oh, 2017 was a great year for them. And in 2018, they're introducing a bunch of Mixer features. One of which is the ability, integrated donation. You know, so you can tip streamers without having to use like a third-party site. So that's pretty cool. That's neat. But the other one is it'll have the ability to purchase games via Mixer. So say we're playing Siege. Someone's watching us play Siege on Mixer. And they go, oh, cool, I want to get it. You know, because Twitch has that right now.
Yeah, I'm about to say Twitch has had that for a little while, haven't they?
Yeah, Twitch has had that for quite some time. You know, the beauty is it will, you know, it'll put a bit of money in your pocket. But, you know, because it's Microsoft, it'll be interesting to see how that's implemented, where, you know, you'll be able to maybe watch folk play, and then if a game, who knows, maybe people that aren't in the game enrolled in Games Pass, you know, it might give them a little link for that or something. They might have the ability to sign up just from watching. It's like you said, when it comes to money, Microsoft, you know, they're not bankrupt, right? They're all they're doing is spending money. They're investing it. So I think they'll be fine.
You got to look at carefully. I mean, I can't remember if this is true. I think you said this a while back, Joe. It's like, I don't know if they necessarily make a profit on the actual consoles themselves.
Yeah, I don't believe they do. I think they lose on hardware.
The hardware is what's allowing these games to get played. And that's their revenue, isn't it?
Well, they make their revenue from licensing for the console, really.
Yep.
Yeah, well, and let's be honest. I mean, the parent that Microsoft is, they're making their money from businesses. When you look at the way that their licensing model works for like servers, you have to actually buy per core licensing for servers, and then you've got user access licensing or device access license. You know, like Microsoft makes so much money just for giving access. Never mind their actual product, just to be able to use said product. So, I mean, yeah, Microsoft, they don't have any money issues. So they can afford to lose a bit of money on the Xbox side of things because they're making it up in other ways. But yeah, Games Pass. Give it a you know, if it's been something that you haven't been interested in before, now might be the time to, you know, have a look at it, or at least wait until a game's coming out you want. And then if you haven't used Games Pass yet, you should get is it a 14-day trial if you've
14-day trial,
tried it before? And if you've bought a new console, then you should get a month in addition to that. Because I know me and Jay, with our 1Xs, we've got vouchers for a month. So
I'm so glad I haven't used that yet.
Also, there are official Xbox-branded Seagate drives that also come with a month.
Ah, good
That's
call.
Where I got a free month from.
Ah, of course.
So I played most of Metal Gear Solid 5 and then just couldn't do the final stretch. It was just... It's not a bad game, it's just it didn't really sort of...
Yeah.
So you need to finish this.
Yeah.
It doesn't help that I know how it ends up is sort of... Doesn't end very well because Konami being Konami decided to dig it up.
Did I tell you guys that
Konami.
I had downloaded and tried the Metal Gear Survive beta?
I didn't want to touch that.
I had to. It was kind of like, because, you know, come on, let's be honest. If you see a car crash on, you know, on the other side of the motorway, you can't help but look, right? You know, it's one of those things. If kids are going around and they see a dead animal or something horrible, they have to go up to it and poke it. So I felt that way with Metal Gear Survive.
I'm a bit more respectful.
Well, you know,
what a great analogy.
The passing of the junior.
Beautiful. You heard it here first, guys. You heard it here first.
But it's
Jungle
true.
likes to poke dead animals.
It's true. Not in a long time, damn it.
Twist that however you will. Poke can mean whatever you want it to mean.
But no, so I downloaded it, and okay, it looks beautiful, right? The graphics were stunning on the Xbox One X. I'll give it that. But yeah, no, thank you. Just no. It's to each their own. If you're into that type of thing, great. You know, and you're probably the same type of person that's into poking dead dogs, because it's sick. It wasn't good. Moving on quickly. They've
good
Better things, hopefully.
This is something that shouldn't come as any shock to anybody. I mean, I knew this. I wasn't, okay, no is a strong word, but I saw people talking about being so excited for this coming out in 2018, and I was like, I wouldn't count on it. This is, of course, to do with BioWare's Anthem. So I sourced this from Polygon, and so BioWare has reported that Anthem is delayed as the studio is going to double down on a make-or-break title. If everyone remembers when it was announced at E3 2017, they were saying that the fall, as the Americans call it, but over autumn of 2018 was the planned release.
Autumn's not hard to say.
You know, it's not, but hey, fall.
Silly Americans.
But you know,
I love you, but fucking hell.
I think that was extremely optimistic, considering, as far as we know, they were relatively early, in their development cycle. So for it to be coming out, you know, a year after its initial announcement at E3, I think was asking a bit much. So they're looking at 2019, and apparently, and again, you can't really trust this because it's Kotaku who said this, is that Kotaku's speculating that BioWare cannot delay the game beyond March of 2019 because that is when EA's fiscal year ends. So there could be a bit of logic to that. and it's just the article itself is actually quite good because it's going into, you know, this belief that if Anthem doesn't live up to the expectations of EA, BioWare could possibly look very different in the future, especially after Mass Effect Andromeda's performance. You know, again, whether you love or hate Mass Effect Andromeda, when it comes down to the numbers of how profitable it was, that's really all these people care about. Let's be honest. I mean, that's why we've had this discussion about Destiny and Destiny 2, right? Where Destiny 1 was criticized left and right, wasn't it? About their decisions they made, about how they did it. But at the end of the day, those guys had so much profit, they could do no evil, right? They didn't care. Destiny 2 is a very different story. I'd almost picked up an article to discuss about that, where they're looking financially, Destiny 2's in trouble. It's not looking too good for them. So that's interesting, but that's, you know, that's something else. So I think, so with Anthem, let's be honest, they're looking at Destiny 2, I think, right? I mean, they're looking and seeing the mistakes that are being made on what was once a loved franchise that now has content creators and influencers just in this mass exodus. They don't want to touch it. It makes sense that, you know, BioWare is going to say, well, look, you know what, we're going to push back the release date of this because we want, you know, we need to double down. We understand if we get this wrong, for BioWare specifically, it could end them. They're already on thin ice with EA after Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yep.
All EA studios on thin ice EA because they just like murdering studios.
Well, that's touche, sir. Touche. Oh,
it's only because BioWare brought things like Knights of the Old Republic, the original Mass Effect games, and Dragon Age that they'd not been just beheaded for Andromeda anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't the main BioWare studio, and it was farmed out, a lot of the stuff.
I mean, how crazy is that? I mean, you look at Andromeda, right? And Andromeda was released in March of 2017. Okay, just last year, in March, is when it was launched. And then 5 months later, support for the game ended. And no post-launch DLC was ever created. Which, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Gim, you'll know more about Mass Effect than I do, but that is the first time that has ever happened in the history of Mass Effect, I believe, as far as DLC goes. It just, it's a shame. It gives me faith in this project, because let's be honest, we have all discussed this before, and we worry about EA being involved, because we know what they're capable of. But at the same time, there's that little bit of optimism about BioWare. Because in the past, I mean, I've always loved BioWare products. You know, they've always done a good job, I think, when they're allowed to. And I think Anthem's another example of that. Potentially, it could be amazing as long as BioWare gets to spread its wings. And they're not, you know, constantly having to put things in or appease, you know, the board members, I suppose.
The publishers need to be a bit more hands off.
Yeah.
But they start wanting to tick these boxes that don't necessarily need to be ticked by every single game. But that's the reason we ended up with multiplayer being chucked in every single game that comes from EA.
It'll be interesting to see. I'm hoping that, you know, hopefully not too late in the year, but I'm hoping we get like a really good opportunity to beta, you know, a good beta run on it or something, because I'm really curious to see how it all plays and whatnot. Really looking forward to that. Right, let me talk really briefly about a bit of hardware. Again, this is something that actually we discussed ages ago, back when there were rumors, whatnot, and this is about the 8th gen Intel processors, which are code named Coffee Lake. Now, we know the i7s are out, right? The i7s are really quite a nice bit of a kit, right? Because they're a 6-core, 12-thread processor. which, yes, we know that AMD CPUs have much higher counts, and likewise, if you go crazy and get an i9, an Intel i9 processor, you can get even more than that. But for a mainstream, what is kind of aimed at a normal consumer, i7, to have a total of 12 threads is really awesome, especially for aspiring content creators out there. If you've got an i7 rig that has 6 cores, 12 threads, you'll be able to stream probably anything you want to from it. And likewise, when it comes to encoding videos and whatnot, for whether it's Vegas or Premiere, it'll definitely be able to go through those quite quickly. But of course, not everyone has the money for a brand new i7. I know I certainly don't. So what a lot of people have been keeping their eye on is the 8th Gen i3 and 8th Gen i5. Now, the i5 shouldn't come as a surprise. i5s have always been good chips. I mean, Jay, you use an i5.
Yep.
Right? They're really, really good processors. But let's be honest, i3s have historically been horrible. Like, i3s have actually performed so badly that you would have been better off buying a same generation Celeron processor than an i3. They were just that horrible. So this article from Video Cards, which just came out not that long ago, it's a few days back, and it's saying that the i3 and the i5, the 8th gen ones, are going to appear, they've got an ETA of 14 February, so that's just round the corner. The pricing looks pretty good. All I've got here is Australian pricing, but if we look at an i3 8100, you're looking at, what, 182 Australian dollars. That doesn't look too bad, but the i3 is going to have a base clock of 3.6 gigahertz, and it's a 4-core processor, right? So an i3 quad-core, actually, this looks like a pretty darn good deal. And then likewise, the i5, which comes in a few different variants. You've got the 8400, the 8500, 8600, 8600K. As you can imagine, obviously the K model means it's unlocked, so you can overclock to your heart's desire. These processors are 6-core, 6-thread, which makes it look like they're the equivalent of the i7, just with hyper-threading disabled. At least that's the way it looks on paper. The prices of the i5s, they vary all the way from 270 to 329 Australian dollars. There's a little graph on the actual website itself just doing a comparison. But I'll tell you what, I mean, that's a nice little deal. A lot of people like to go with Intel processors because they're easy to use, they're easy to set up, and they tend to have, slightly better gaming performance when it comes to, single core applications. But to be able to get a 6-core processor, an i5, for a relatively affordable price, you could start seeing a lot of people picking those up. And then the i3, which is, an entry-level processor usually, to see one that's going to be sporting a quad-core at up to 4 gigahertz, that's pretty darn good. Pretty darn good, for sure. What's nice, I suppose, is, like, say, for example, Jay, if you wanted to build a new platform and you wanted to go with the 8th gen i7, right?
Yeah.
But you don't have that money. You just don't. But you have the money for all the other things, and you just slap an i3 in it for now. That i3 is going to perform okay because it's a quad core now. And then later down the line, you can save up that bit more and then finally slap that all singing, all dancing i7 in it. It's interesting. I mean, this is the thing. Gamers don't need more cores. It's really more about, what you're doing with it. I mean, Jay, you're in software development, so you'll actually, if you end up doing a lot of work at home and playing around with things and virtual machines, a higher core count will definitely do you some good.
Oh yeah.
But for playing Dark Souls and whatnot, you don't need that many cores. Neither we do.
I mean, the only thing gaming-wise I could think of would be if it was very heavy on the physics side of things and it wasn't really making use of the GPU for those.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. No, there's very, very few. I mean, there's some games that do require a bit of processing power, but it's really... I think it's only when folk start trying to stream games, you know what I mean? Like, they've got the graphical horsepower, like, oh, this is cool, right, I'm getting 100 and something frames per second, right, I'm going to now try streaming that to Twitch, you know, or Mixer, and then all of a sudden, their game's just stuttering, you know, really, really badly, and like, whoa, what's going on? Yeah, it's because you're a processor guy. I mean, you know, sucks. But that's just the way it is. Right, enough tech. Just very, very briefly, I want to talk about some betas that had occurred. There'd been the beta for Dragon Ball FighterZ, both on PS4 and Xbox. The first round on the Xbox was such a shambles, and there was a lot of connection issues that they actually did another 24 hours that had just started on Wednesday, I believe. I think the PS4 had got extra time as well. So I'd fired it up actually just there on Wednesday night, played a little bit of it, and yeah, it actually looks pretty darn cool. You know, I'm really not into fighting games as much anymore as I used to be. When I was younger, I just loved them in the arcades. But yeah, it was really, really quite cool. Pretty nifty. Which of course that launches Friday. Yeah, it launches on Friday, so that's going to be pretty neat for those of you that are looking forward to that. I just hope that the network issues are fixed, because yeah, the Xbox specifically, I know PS4 was having issues as well, but the network issues were horrible. Most people on Xbox just couldn't even really participate and tried to queue up, and I think guys on and gals on PS4 were having issues trying to play with friends, I think. But oh well, we'll see. Maybe they'll get the details all hashed out. But the other beta that is occurring right now is, of course, Sea of Thieves, the Microsoft exclusive title, only available on PC and Xbox One. And so they've got a closed beta at the moment. If you've pre-ordered the game, you should be able to download the closed beta. Likewise, if you've previously been, if you've been on the Insider program, well, look, you know that in the past you haven't been able to discuss anything because Microsoft had a strict non-disclosure agreement, which we were all, you know, basically slapped with. So we couldn't take images, we couldn't talk about it. The NDA, technically, because Gim was also in the Insider program for Sea of Thieves, and get this, just yesterday I was double checking that old NDA. It even prevented me and him from talking about it with each other. It's crazy. You weren't even allowed to talk about it with other insiders. But of course, the closed beta does not have an NDA. So if you're in it, you can record as much as you want. You can stream it to your heart's content, which I've seen people doing. Just yesterday on Mixer, saw Magnetron, really nice Scottish guy, and he was killing it on Mixer. He was streaming Sea of Thieves, and you know, anytime you see a channel on Mixer that has more viewers than Monster Cat, you know that they're doing something right. And so he was playing Sea of Thieves. I have not had a chance to play any of it this week. Gim, have you managed to get much time on it?
I went on, did one voyage, and that was it, because I was tired at the time.
That's fair enough. We'll
the
try
only
to
thing
get...
I noticed that was new was they gave everyone... They used to give everyone just the flintlock pistol and the sword, and then you can buy a blunderbuss. But they've also given everyone a scoped musket as well now.
Oh, okay.
Probably because range combat was just a bit crap. You probably fire off one pistol shot and then they'd be on top of you.
Can you answer a question for me? Because I didn't... Like, you know how when you start the game up and you've got the three choices? And I know on the right, obviously, the single player. What's that middle one? Is that just for like a team of two?
2 player.
Is that 2 player?
It's
Okay.
the same as a single player boat, but you get 2 people.
But get 2 people. Okay. I'm assuming we're going to do a little bit of that then at some point.
We certainly can at some point.
Cool. Because that also...
But
Well,
remember what happens tomorrow. I disappear into a world full of monsters.
oh, of course, Monster Hunter World's out
Nothing
tomorrow,
else.
so yeah.
Winner, chicken dinner.
See, I would have got that.
Gun on time.
If I'd had the cash, I would have bought that right now. But I think I will be joining you. Let's see, what's the date today? That's the 25th. So, not actually, that's 7, 14. So, yeah, about 13 days from now. Unless within those 13 days you tell me, actually, you know what, Jungle, it's not worth a buy. But based off the early reviews I have seen...
Because I love Monster Hunter.
Well, I'll put it this way. Based off the early reviews I've seen, this is absolutely worth it. If you don't like Monster Hunter games, then probably not. But when you've got Monster Hunter veterans saying that this is the best Monster Hunter ever, then, you know, it might mean something.
It's also apparently probably the best one to get into the series with now.
Yes, yes.
The changes they've made.
That as well. Plus,
Monster Hunter was a great game with notoriously bad systems in place for a lot of things.
of course. And seeing plus J, it's another 1X enhanced title. So,
Oh yeah,
you know,
exactly
it means
that.
it's an automatic purchase. You have to get it, right?
You have to, right? I mean, why would you not?
So Jay, you said you were getting it on release now, weren't you?
It's currently finishing off installing at the moment.
Oh, is it? You dick.
You got it digitally.
It's on 99%.
Mine will turn up tomorrow.
Well, see, that is fine. You guys play Monster Hunter World with each other. It's cool because actually the global event is up in the division, and I need to do some of that before that goes away. So I see that's fine. You guys have that. I've got that. It's all cool. Nate,
I'll
he
be
can
chopping
just
off bits of monsters.
he can
to
just do
slap
whatever.
onto my arms. I think Nate said he was getting it as well. Really.
I would have thought. Yeah, I would have thought so.
I was like deliriously tired when I saw that in the Discord. So
Cool.
I'm not imagining, am I?
No, we'll have to. Well, in that case, we'll definitely have to try to talk about that next week. Then get some of your guys' impressions of what you think of it so far. And then we'll hopefully too between now and then we'll get some more. We'll get some Sea of Thieves action in, and we can.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely make some time for it. I mean, it's limited time, so I might as well.
Yeah. And we'll that way we can kind of see what we thought of it and stuff.
And all the time we've had, I don't think we actually really. We got together once, didn't we, and played it a bit?
We got together once, and then the connection.
Before,
all of a sudden, we found ourselves on 2 different ships.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. Oh shit! Wait a minute. We're not supposed to talk about that because that stuff was all subject to the NDA back then.
Well, yeah, but we couldn't talk about it then. But the nature of the NDA means we can talk about it now. I know you're making a joke.
Yeah. No, it all predates it. It predates it. They're gonna wait. Oh shit, that's them knocking at the door. They're here, they found me! Sons of bitches! Anyway, yeah, no, we'll definitely get some gaming time in. Look, folks, let's call that for this week. As always, make sure to check out all our other content here on ScholarlyGamers.com. We've had a couple of reviews this week. I know Matt had just done... How do you pronounce it? Is it Zui or Zui? Zwei? A Japanese RPG game. He had... done a great review of that. Of course, our wonderful IT overlord Marcus had done a review on The Escapists 2. Another great read. I myself had reviewed Flying Tigers, a game for Xbox One that is definitely worth a look at. Yeah, you know, just as usual, bookmark ScholarlyGamers.com. Check us out. And we've usually got plenty of content coming your way. Gim and Jay, thank you so much for joining me on Jungle Drums this week. And we'll have to get some gaming in over the weekend.
Yes, we will.
Yes. Alright, folks, we will catch you next week. Because, well, we're only a few weeks away from episode 50. We'll have to do something. You guys have to come up with an idea of what we're going to do for 50. But we'll discuss that later. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take it easy, folks.